Today, we are diving deep into the incredible, thought-provoking world of the sci-fi novel The Weight of Salt. You know, it's one of those stories that starts out as a simple mystery on some far-flung space station, but before you know it, it just blossoms into this huge exploration of memory, consciousness, and what it really means to listen.
And this is where it all begins. Listening post Yeren. Imagine a place so remote, so quiet, that silence itself starts to feel like a presence. I mean, this one sentence just sets the whole mood, doesn't it? It speaks to this incredible patience, but also this deep mystery. For 3 centuries, humanity's been listening to this silent planet, just waiting for a signal that, well, a signal that never shows up on any of their instruments.
Okay, so, first up, the silent planet. This is where we meet the woman who's been sent to figure out what's been going on, or rather, what hasn't been going on for all those years.
So, let's meet our protagonist, Dr. Mirova. She is a scientist through and through. If you can't measure it, it's not real. Simple as that. Her mission? To replace her predecessor, Dr. Vasquez, who had a total mental breakdown, an event the crew just ominously calls the listening. And what's she studying? A thing called the salt. It's this enormous planet-wide crystal that gives off a vibration that none of their machines can pick up, but people can feel it. They can even hear it. And right there, you have the central conflict, right? Mirova's super-rigid, data-driven worldview is about to go head-to-head with something that just plain defies measurement.
Now, the scientific community is, of course, totally split on this. You've got a few camps. Most think the salt is either just a really complex, weird, natural crystal, or maybe some piece of ancient alien tech that's breaking down. But Mirova's predecessor, Dr. Vasquez, he was a believer in this third kind of fringe theory, that the salt is actually a living consciousness. And this isn't just some academic debate, you know? It's a huge philosophical question about what life even is.
So Mirova gets all of Vasquez's old research notes, and they're filled with all this meticulous data, but it's all empty. Just observations of 41 vibration events that meant nothing. But that 42nd entry, the final one, it's different. It's the key that starts to unlock this whole thing. And honestly, it's absolutely chilling.
I am not hearing it. It is hearing me. Just let that sink in for a second. This is the moment. The entire way they've been looking at this thing just flips on its head. See, humanity thought they were the observers, right? The ones doing the listening. But Vasquez realizes in his last clear moments that they're the ones being watched. The subject of the experiment isn't the salt, it's them.
And that brings us to section 2, a question from below. Because now, this revelation is going to pull Mirova out of the observation deck and make her a direct participant in this cosmic conversation.
So first, she feels it herself, this little tremor that all her fancy equipment insists isn't there. And it drives her crazy, right? This thing that defies her whole worldview. So she does something she's absolutely not supposed to do. She breaks protocol and takes a pod down to the surface. And this is her big turning point. She kneels down, touches the salt, and feels warmth. A warmth that has no business existing in that kind of cold. It's her very first experience of a truth that exists completely outside of her data. And then, the salt communicates. But not with words, not with sound. It's a question that just forms right inside her own mind, using her own thoughts as its language. What do you want to remember? It's not asking for a piece of information. It's asking about the very core of who she is.
And her answer, it's not something she chooses. It just bubbles up from somewhere way deeper than conscious thought. It's a memory of her father. He was a cartographer who drew these maps, not of places, but of the feeling of places. And this involuntary memory, this map that values experience over hard data, is the very thing her scientific mind had always rejected. And it turns out it's the exact key the salt was looking for.
Which leads us to our next section, the shape of remembering. Because now, her contact with the salt starts to fundamentally change everything. Not just what she's experiencing, but her very perception of reality itself.
I mean, just look at this timeline. You can see how incredibly fast everything happens. We're talking less than 3 months. She goes from a total skeptic to someone having these profound, structured dreams about her father's philosophy, and it all culminates in her crossing this physical and metaphysical threshold on the planet's surface into a place that seems to be made of pure consciousness.
And as she's changing, something else happens. This faint blue light appears under her skin. Now, this isn't some infection. It's not a disease. It's a physical sign of her new reality. The salt hasn't infected her.
It's almost like it has revealed her. The luminescence is like a map of her connection, a whole new language written right on her body.
And this really gets to the heart of the whole novel's philosophy. Mirova's old way, her empiricism, that was all about knowing things from the outside, right? Through objective data. But the Salt's way is about understanding from the inside, by actually becoming part of the thing you're trying to know. It's the difference between reading a map and actually walking the path.
So now that she's been fundamentally changed, Mirova's journey isn't just about her anymore. She becomes a conduit, a kind of bridge, and her transformation starts to ripple out through the entire station, affecting everyone.
Yeah, when Mirova gets back, she's basically a living broadcast tower for the Salt's consciousness. The rest of the crew, they start having these incredibly vivid dreams, feeling the same question she did. And now they have a choice to make. Do they try to wall themselves off from this, isolate themselves, or do they lean in, immerse themselves in it? A new community decides on immersion, and they start gathering in the station's arboretum, a place where the soil is literally made from the organic remains of everyone who ever lived there. It's a place that remembers.
And eventually the Salt speaks through Mirova, and its message is actually one of profound reassurance. You might be wondering, is this thing hostile, a parasite? But no, it clarifies its intention right here. It's simply offering what it is, a massive library of memory and potential. It's an invitation, not a command.
And this brings us to the climax of the story. The relationship moves beyond just fear and study and into a real, true partnership. The crew of Yaren makes a conscious choice to join with the Salt, to learn from its ancient awareness, and to create something totally new together.
And so we end where we started, but with a new perspective on that original question. It was never just about recalling one specific memory. The real question, for Mirova, and I think for us too, is about how we choose to live with our past. Are we just passive containers for our experiences? Or are we active creators, shaping who we are and who we're going to become by the very act of remembering? It's a pretty powerful thought to leave you with, right? That our identity isn't just what happened to us, but in how we choose to remember.